What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video. And today, it is time that we talk about the Republican war on colleges and as a whole the education system. That is right, everybody. As many of you probably know, for the past couple of years, Republicans have finally woken up to what's happening in not only universities, but what's also happening in your kids' schools. It's getting so bad that even most Republicans realize we cannot let this keep going on. What is happening to our education system? So that's right. We're going to be discussing how can Republicans win this quote-unquote war with these colleges and somewhat of the other schools, but the main focus is definitely on the universities, colleges, all of that, and how it can help us win the future. Now, before we continue today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content? Well, this is the way to support it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. Enough promotion stuff. Let's get into this. So like I said, for the past couple of years, the Republican Party, and I would say as a whole, most voters that aren't partisan Democrats, they have realized there is some significant problems with the current education system. In the past, I would say few months, the focus has started to shift towards the colleges, universities, because it seems like we're finally starting to see some change, in elementary schools, high schools, all of that. But it really stems from colleges where this plague started. When you really look at it, this is where the chaos started. You have high schools, middle schools, all of that. They're getting political, they're getting woke, all of it. It all stems from these colleges and universities for the past 40 odd years. It really past 10 years or so, but it started in the colleges. And the Republican Party has finally woken up to what's really going on here. Some Republican complaints about colleges are related to broader concern about wokeness and free speech, but others hint at deeper questions about the value of college and how to ensure a degree comes with appropriate economic return. So yeah, some of the political stuff, that's kind of the main focus for many Republicans. But, there's a big but. There are some Republicans starting to talk about, hey, why does this cost $30,000 a year? Why is it so damn expensive just to get a degree? And funny enough, take a guess who was kind of ahead of the curve on this. Donald frickin' Trump. In a video posted on his website last week, Trump pledged to fire the radical left accreditors and hire new ones who will oppose real standards on colleges. Some of those standards would include protecting free speech, removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats, and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. This is freaking massive, by the way. What other presidential candidate is proposing this? What? Name one. This is freaking massive. Yes, you could talk about just stopping the political stuff because, let's be real, the past 20 years and more so really last 10 years, universities have become political shitfests. If you're a Republican on one of these campuses, you get mocked, ridiculed, and you get targeted by these corrupt professors. It's about damn time somebody's saying, we got to implement real standards in these universities. There's no reason that anybody should be against this. That, hey, there should be entrance and exit exams to show, did the students actually learn anything? I'm just shocked that it's, of course, Donald Trump that is pushing for this. Now, last month, I also got to give praise to Governor Ron DeSantis. He sued the Biden administration over the college accreditation system, alleged it's unconstitutional. Inside Higher Education reports, students who receive federal aid must attend an accredited college or university. So DeSantis kind of did that with, the lawsuit. But Trump's the first one to say, hey, we got to have some serious standards here. There's no reason that there should be political, let's be real, partisans deciding who gets aid, who gets into schools, and there needs to be some kind of standard for people to show that, hey, they actually learned something, and their money they're spending isn't going down a toilet. Republicans' confidence in higher education has plummeted over the last several years. What a shocker. A Gallup poll released earlier this month found that Americans' confidence in higher education has fallen to 36%, compared to 57% in 2015. The sharpest reported drop in confidence was among Republicans. So this is not only a winning issue with the GOP, but it's also a winning issue with most voters. Most voters are understanding this is insane what's happening. I mean, you can't, they first of all, they discriminated based on race, which thank goodness the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action. But also, the fact that costs keep exploding and, it's a 500% increase over 5 years. It's an exaggeration, but you get the point. It's like most people, they don't trust these higher education institutes anymore because they learned the past 5 years or so. And ironically, COVID is the biggest reason we finally learned what was going on at these universities. And also, high schools, middle schools, all of that. But we finally learned it really was when people started to investigate what their kids were learning. But at the core of it, it always starts at these universities. And I'm glad that the GOP, and mostly it's Trump and even DeSantis, I'm glad they're finally going over this issue. Much of the noise being made by Republicans is political at heart, but right-leaning think tanks and even some policymakers are focused on making colleges more accountable for students' economic outcomes. Yeah, there are some Republicans, and I know Axios is kind of spinning this, but I don't deny that there's some Republicans just, sitting on their ass on the issue and just talking a big game. But hey, it is Axios we're talking about. And accreditation reforms could be where those two goals intersect. This could be the biggest one. The fact that it's, of course, Trump, the one pushing this. It's incredible. And I'm glad that somebody's finally mentioning what we have to do. Now, as for the rest of the stuff about, what Trump proposed, well, the accreditors are supposed to ensure that schools are not ripping off students and taxpayers, but they have failed totally. When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to be dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics. That's kind of the main thing. We will then accept the applicants for new accreditors who will impose real standards on colleges once again, and once and for all. These standards will include defending the American tradition and Western civilization. Wow, he actually brought that up. Protecting free speech, eliminating wasteful administrative positions that drive up costs incredibly, removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats, offering options for accelerated and low-cost degrees, provide meaningful job placement and career services, and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. Again, Axios, of course, they didn't mention the rest of that, but this is freaking incredible. A Republican actually said we need to defend American tradition. Why do you think I'm supporting Trump? He's the only one talking about this. Furthermore, I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination, and schools that persist in explicit unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowment taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. Holy crap! I mean, this is why I love Trump. He's the only major candidate that brings stuff up like this, outside of maybe Ramaswamy. But it's like, he's gonna take away all their endowments. If they're not doing their job and they're discriminating based on race and pushing a lot of this garbage, your endowments, they're getting taxed. And I've been saying this, or actually a lot of people, but I've also said this in the past. Endowments should be taxed. It's a scam. There's no reason these, totally legitimate just donations don't get taxed. And I'm glad that somebody is finally mentioning, not just, somebody like Vance, who's a great senator, but a presidential candidate. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies. Policies that hurt our country so badly. Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all. We're going to have real education in America. This is freaking huge. Now, why does this matter? Why am I making a big deal about this? Put it simply. Think about this for a couple seconds. Why do you think educated voters, or quote-unquote educated, let's just call them college-educated voters, why do you think they've shifted to the left? Part of it is Trump isn't the one to appeal to them. But also, these are not the same college grads from 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. They aren't. These college grads now, they've been indoctrinated, they've been essentially brainwashed at these universities. Being told anti-America, 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 Marxist wasn't actually that bad, and all this other crap. And the fact they got rid of free speech at campuses, that was a big issue 10 years ago, and it still is, but you get the point. These universities and campuses themselves are far more radical than they were 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they still had professors that were nuts, but it wasn't as egregious as it is now. So it is a thing that, it helps people get a real education, a real education. But number two, it also provides these people don't get indoctrinated with crap. So not only is this popular, but long term, when you think about it, it may actually help the GOP. Because these people are not getting brainwashed with this baloney. And instead, they're getting a real education, they're getting into the workforce, and they don't have to get $500,000 in debt and beg the Democrats to get them out of college debt. I think this is a win-win for everybody. And I hope more Republicans start to sign up on this. I think this is a great start. Taxing endowments, go after these garbage accreditors, and especially these universities that are scamming these people out of tens of thousands of dollars while they pocket God knows how much in endowments. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.